So I really barely speak on controversial topics because sometimes I feel like people are just not that open minded, or they never experienced it, so they don't know um, really what they're talking about. But I know this is going to get flack, but I'm just saying it from my personal experience. The Lindsay Clancy lady who killed her 3 children is one of the saddest cases. I went to school for criminal justice, and I love to watch court cases. I've always been fascinated with court cases. I've always been fascinated with juries, how the jury's picked, what the jury's going to say, things like that. Um, this case is really interesting because I've had similar experience. Um, and I had my first child in 2010. I had a really hard pregnancy, but as I was saying, I had a very complicated pregnancy. I had a very complicated labor. My labor was like over 21 hours. It was terrible. I tried to go natural. And then right when he was getting ready to come down, the head was out. He stopped breathing. His shoulder was too wide. So I had to go into an emergency C-section because he was losing oxygen. It was terrible. For your first time experience, it was very traumatic. And I was very small. I was like 110 pounds before I got pregnant with him. And when I had him, I was like 160 pounds. And just imagine that big baby. I had a baby, he was 8'15". And just imagine that big baby coming out of my small frame for a C-section. They had to get on top of the table and literally push down on my stomach to get him out. So long story short, it was very, very, very traumatic. Also, on top of my pregnancy being hard and my labor being traumatic, I was in a very bad relationship, a marriage. It was very toxic. There was a lot of infidelity during my pregnancy, and there was infidelity going on even as I was in labor. So it was a very stressful situation, right? And I think that when they put the baby on me, I was just clocked out. I was immediately disconnected. I was excited about it, but I was more so I feel like I was having an outer body experience. Like, oh my gosh, he belongs to me. When I went home, my mom is very supportive. My siblings were very supportive. Everybody was very supportive of me being a new mom. And so I began to connect with the baby and things like that. But out of nowhere, around the time when my oldest son, was maybe a week and a half, about 2 weeks, that is when things took a major shift for me. It started with me just I would see him cry, and I would just look at him I would not even have the urge to comfort him. I didn't have the urge to wonder why was he hungry, was he this, was he that. I immediately, it's like all my feelings toward him switched off. And I don't know if it was because I was breastfeeding and it was very painful, and then I was really having a hard time healing from my C-section. I don't know what it was a combination of, but my feelings towards him changed completely. And I remember having a conversation with my mother, and I told her, I said, there's something off with me. I don't know what it is, but I need to talk to my doctor because I just have a bad feeling about the baby. And that was my first initial instant that something was not right with me mentally after the birth. So after I talked to my mom, I ended up talking to my ex-husband. I was telling him about my thoughts. He wasn't taking me serious. He think I'm being over dramatic. He think I don't want to be at home with the baby. But I told my mom, I really think I need help. Fast forward to about him being 3 or 4 weeks. It was in the middle of the night. He was in a bassinet, and he was literally screaming at the top of his lungs because he cried a lot. He was I think he was a colicky baby. I was trying the gripe water. I was trying everything, but he just constantly cried, right? I remember this very vividly. Something was telling me to quiet him. It was like a strong feeling, a strong voice, quiet him. Quiet him. And I felt that the voice that was telling me that wanted me to suffocate him, wanted me to make him be quiet. And that's when I got my butt up and called my mom immediately. my mom immediately came. The next morning, I called to my OBGYN, who was an amazing doctor at the time. She delivered my first two kids. Her name was Dr. Klein. She's out of Athens, Georgia, where I'm originally from. And she was telling me, like, it's okay. Like, don't be ashamed with what you're saying. It's totally okay. We're going to give you the help that you need. I was told that I could not be around my baby unattended. I was given antipsychotic. I was given something for my depression. And I was sent home with my mom and my baby. My mom stayed over. My mom was with me a lot. And once the medicine got in my system, things started to get better, a whole lot better. So for me, seeing her case, I hate to say it, but even with Andrea Yates, until you have been a mother in that position, you can never say what you would or would not do. You cannot say that. Being a new mother is hard. But imagine being a new mother, going through postpartum psychosis with two other small children, like all your children under the age of 3, or having a child that's 8 and then having a child that's 4 and then having a newborn. Like, just imagine having those stepdaughters. And yes, you make the choice, right? But no one ever knows that their mind can snap, or no one wished for their mind to snap. I've had 2 breakdowns, big nervous breakdowns in my life, including the psychosis that I had with my first child. I didn't recognize myself. Only thing I knew was that what was being told to me in my head was not rational. I could feel it. I can tell something was off. I knew it was bad, and I knew it was wrong. But imagine a person who don't get the help and don't have the resources. Imagine that. Just think about it. And I'm not going to debate or go back and forth about it, but what I will say is this: we got to have some compassion for people. Mental illness is a real thing, okay? As a combat vet, as a survivor of SA, as a DV survivor, mental illness is a real thing. And a lot of people like to laugh and play and joke, but be glad that you've never had a mental experience or out-of-body experience where you cannot control your thoughts, where you can control how you was going to react or say things or do things. Just be grateful. Be grateful. And a lot of people have it in their family. You see people in your family who's struggling mentally. I don't play about mental health. I don't play about it. I don't play with my kids about it. Like, my kids, if they need therapy, we in there. If I need therapy, I'm in medication, I'm there. Like, I don't care. Whatever I have to do to be mentally sane, I'm going to do it. And I don't care what not a soul think about it. Because your mind is all you got. Your mental is important. So, no, I'm not saying that what she did was right. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is, let's get outside the box, and we need to start having more advocating for people who are having new moms who are having babies with postpartum depression, postpartum psychosis. We need to start advocating for mental health more. We need to start having these conversations, because it's a real thing. Like, man, carrying another human being is no joke. It's no joke. And that's why I have compassion for her. I don't feel like, she should just get away with it. Shoot, I feel like she should have to be forced to even have a hysterectomy and never have any more children ever again, because for her, it's just not, she's not capable and functional enough for her to be a mother. There are some people who shouldn't be a mother. A lot of y'all don't need to have no kids. Let's be honest. Mentally, you shouldn't have no children. Bottom line is, it's okay. Everybody's not meant and made to be a mom. But let's have some compassion and let's learn more about it.